Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So, controls really do matter, and today we're going to talk about how you can improve your key bindings for World of Warcraft. Why? Well, first, you can perform better with, faster reaction times, but you can also play the game more comfortably. Hell, controls are a massive part of game design. Games with rubbish controls are a lot less fun to play, so you really can make WoW a lot more enjoyable for yourself by finding a key binding setup that, works for you and is comfortable. Plus, the better your controls are, well, the less chance you got of making a right boob out of yourself, misclicking your way off buildings, off bridges, barraging half the damn dungeon. Yeah, definitely something I needed to work on a little bit, but now I'm a lot more happy with my key binding setup. So first, we're going to talk about the movement keys. This one can get a little bit tryhard, I'll admit, but changing the default might end up working really well for you. How you deal with the movement keys really does impact your options down the road, and that's really why I'm going to start here. But of course, this is all personal preference. Now, normally World of Warcraft has W and S being walk forward and backwards, with A and D being to turn left and turn right. Now that's fine, but one can turn faster and more accurately with the mouse by holding down the right mouse button. This makes keyboard turning with A and D feel kind of redundant for many players. Now, Q and E currently allow you to strafe right and left. You can find that if you're using strafing and then the right mouse button, that's really comfortable, especially since it lets you circle strafe around bosses and PvP targets with really quite a lot of ease. So, what do? Well, I bind strafe right and strafe left to the A and D keys, and then I unbind keyboard turning completely. I've also unbinded S. This might be a bit more contentious, but basically, walking backwards is pretty slow in comparison to strafing and then using the mouse to change your angle. So I overall use A and D to strafe, and then W to walk forward. I use nothing else. This frees up Q, E, and S as binds that I can use for my various abilities. Of course, getting used to this might take an hour or two, but soon enough it'll just be natural to you. So with movement done, let's talk about abilities. This one is really personal, but I'm going to share what I use, and the different ways of thinking about how you manage these binds. In my head, there's kind of a split. There are utility abilities and rotational abilities. Rotational ones are like your Arcane Shot, Chaos Cleave, Shred, the bread and butter of your class. Then utility abilities are things like Exhilaration, Sprint, Vanish, Crimson Vial, Grapple, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll include something like, say, Charge or Heroic Leap as a utility ability just kind of in my head. So why make this distinction? Well, they get bound differently for me. Rotational abilities get bound to the number keys along with a shift modifier. If you've got an MMO mouse, then this is super easy as you'll have very quick access to loads of different buttons. But even using a keyboard, I find that you only really need to use 1 through 6 and a shift modifier. I then put my utility abilities around the WASD cluster. So earlier I freed up Q, E, and S specifically for this purpose. My thinking here is that these are the fastest to access keys because your fingers are already there, and generally your utility abilities, they're kind of like they're a no shit button that you need to hit super quick to get out of a bad situation. And then, as the saying goes, you do no DPS when you're dead, so I prioritize quick access to those utility abilities that can save my ass if I need it. So I use Q, E, S, R, and F with shift modifiers for this purpose. I then try to make the bindings very similar across all of my characters. So my primary interrupt will always be on the same key for every character. My primary self-heal will always be in the same key, and so on. This means that I can reuse the same muscle memory that I've developed for, every character that I play. This makes the game feel very comfortable and intuitive to play, which really does make it a lot more just comfortable and fun for me. Of course, you can bind rotational abilities around the WASD cluster, or really anything that you want. It's all personal preference. It's more about just thinking, of the concepts and how you could apply that to how you want to play the game. Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually keybind easily? Because the default UI, that's not great. I use Bartender instead. You can set Bartender to keybind mode and then just mouse over a button and hit what key you want it to be bound to. This is great for just quickly experimenting with different layouts. Now, a few of my friends were playing World of Warcraft recently because of Warcraft Tales and the test version that we had, and even though they had experience with other PC games, it was physically painful to watch them play World of Warcraft. They just didn't have the muscle memory. They were doing everything in the, the really fiddly way, and I suspect that these things made World of Warcraft a hell of a lot less fun for them. Certainly, I think it's something that highlights the learning curve inherent to some MMOs, and maybe how Blizzard could do a better job of tutorializing parts of the game, and maybe thinking about some of their default binds. Now, then there's loads of miscellaneous keybinds like, say, Zen Pilgrimage or your Hearthstone. I actually bind these to a radial menu using an add-on called Opie, which I covered recently. This really helps clean up the keyboard and just keep the number of buttons down. It's quite good. And that's pretty much how I control World of Warcraft. For me, the largest step was moving to using the keys around the WASD cluster as binds. I could probably be doing more character-specific stuff with macros. I could probably program my keyboard, which is a White Fox, by the way, better, but right now I'm really happy with this setup. Doing my class review series has really put all of this stuff to the test, and I'm really pleased to say that it's been a comfortable setup across multiple classes and specs. The only thing that it mightn't be ideal for is healing, because I just don't have that much experience healing. Overall though, I hope you found this video interesting, and I'm always looking for ways to improve my own setup, so if there's anything that you do differently to me, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm always looking to augment what I'm doing and try out new ideas. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.